Wash your hands, don't touch your face, wipe things down, clean up your space. When you cough and sneeze, do responsibly. If you feel you're getting ill, isolate at home and chill. No, you're not alone. Please pick up your phone and call 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Health 206-477-3977. King County 206-477-3977. Public Community Radio Station will provide you with more information. Say Rainier Avenue Radio. Your community radio station will provide you with more information. Rainier Avenue Radio.
Hi, I'm Paul Pearson of StarTime. Did you know that back in the 1930s, Rainier Avenue Radio operated out of a supply closet in the Columbia City Seafirst Bank? Well, times have changed and so have we. Now you can hear all the great Rainier Avenue Radio shows on our mobile app for Android and iPhone. It's completely free on the Google Play Store and the iPhone App Store. The Rainier Avenue Radio app.
Atlantic Street Center has been serving the children, youth, and families of the Seattle-King County area since 1910. We partner with families and communities to raise healthy, successful children and youth through services including counseling, early learning, youth development, domestic violence, and education support for school-aged children. Committed to serving the African-American community, Atlantic Street Center provides services and support for all marginalized people. Learn more at AtlanticStreetCenter.org.
We must all remain committed to slow the spread of coronavirus, taking care of ourselves and not putting others in harm's way, especially those already at high risk of getting seriously ill, including people over 65 or those with underlying medical conditions. If you must be out, avoid crowded areas, stay 6 feet or 2 arm lengths away from others, and wear a face covering. Wash hands frequently with soap and water for 20 seconds, especially after being in public spaces. Avoid touching your face, cough or sneeze in a tissue, then throw it away. Disinfect frequently, touch objects, and if you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. Slowing coronavirus means taking care of ourselves while also protecting others. Even if you're not at high risk, these steps should be taken to help slow the spread of coronavirus. We are all in this together.
This is Paul Pearson, host of StarTime. And when I'm not explaining to my intern exactly what R&B is, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Yo.
What up, though?
I got to talk. I got to tell what I feel. I got to talk about my life as I see it.
All right, then. It's time for you to bring it to the table.
Turn up your radio wherever you at. We about to bring it.
Street Beat.
Yeah.
With Tony B. For the next hour, Tony B will give you a chance to tackle local, national, and international issues that affect your community. Street Beat. Street Beat with Tony B.
Phenomenal. Now, that's not out of the ordinary. Since you can see him, I'm going to welcome him right now. Reverend Dr. Leslie D. Braxton. How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. How you doing, Tony?
I am fantastic. Back again, and thank you for coming back. This is going to have to be an annual thing that we do. First of all, let's talk about who you are for folks who may not know. Okay, let's give some background information. Where are you from? Little history on yourself. Let's do that first.
Okay. I was born in Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston.
Are
you watching the NBA Finals?
Yes, I'm pulling for Boston. I'm pulling for Boston. I was born in the Colored Hospital, 1961, Roxborough, Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. And when I was 1 year of age, my mother took me and my older sister and brother. We were all stair steps back to Tacoma, where she grew up. She was born in Tampa, but at 6 years of age, the war brought them to Fort Lewis. And so she grew up in Tacoma, graduated Lincoln High School in 1957, and married my father, who was a Fort Lewis soldier. Took her to Boston. He kind of had some issues. We went back, to Tacoma. I graduated Lincoln High School in 1979. I graduated UPS 1984. Went off to Colgate Rochester Divinity School to do my seminary training, my Master of Divinity degree. Started pastoring in Buffalo, New York from 87 to 99. 99 came back to the Pacific Northwest to succeed Samuel Berry McKinney at Mount Zion and pastored there from 1999 to July 2005. August 7th, 2005, started New Beginnings Christian Fellowship in the cafeteria Renton High School. And as they say, the rest is history. And now in 2024, we are the largest predominantly African-American congregation in the state of Washington. And God's been good.
Congratulations on that. Talk a little bit about New Beginnings, just for folks who may be looking for a church home, or a little bit about, what's going on that particular campus. I know you have a lot going on that campus as well.
New Beginnings is just what it says. It's we believe that no matter what's going on in your life, God is always ready to start over. We are in holistic ministry that emphasis upon meeting the needs of people, body, mind, and spirit. I can convert you in the sanctuary. I can educate you in the education wing, and I can get you fit and healthy in our Family Life Center with our full gymnasium, weight and cardio room, dance center, basketball court, industrial kitchen. We sit on 14 acres of land, getting ready to expand the campus out to about 20 acres. We have 4 different feeding ministries for seniors, the homeless, the food challenged. We have a recovery ministry for people with hurts, hangups, and habits. We do advocacy for reentry people, for women fleeing domestic violence. We're all about political empowerment. And so we're a ministry and we focus on education. We've given away over $3 million in scholarship assistance. We don't give tokens. Wow. Our educational grants start at $5,000 a year for undergraduate kids, go up to $9,000. Depending on academic performance. We give out over $100,000 a year. So we're all about giving people levers to rise, because I come from a single parent family with 5 kids. And if it weren't for the church, I wouldn't have excuse me, I wouldn't have had the supervision we had because it took a village. I wouldn't have the money to go to school because they gave us scholarship assistance. And I wouldn't have the examples in front of me of people who were thriving. So despite what was going on in my own individual household, Mama put us in the proximity of people who are handling their business. And as Langston Hughes says, if I can see it, I can be it. And the church puts people in proximity to people who are one step ahead of them. And as Jay-Z said in his Free Flow, when Nipsey Hussle got shot, he says, if we stand on each other's backs, if you're on top and stay attached, you can pull the others out. And that's what I was doing.
All right, now see, that's why I called it a campus. Almost campus, yeah, that's why I call it campus. Well, thanks for being, the reason why we're here, Songs of Black Folk, yes. June 16th,
yes.
Paramount Theater, one more again, running it back, Songs of Black Folk. For anyone who may be unfamiliar about Songs of Black Folk, which Reverend Braxton is the executive director and founder of Songs of Black Folk, tell us, what is Songs of Black Folk?
Songs of Black Folk is a celebration of how the African music tradition jumped the Atlantic via slave ships and then settled into the soil of the daily lives of an oppressed Black people in a white supremacist anti-Black society, whereby our music became the transcript of our existence. I believe if all other books of history about our existence in these Americas were lost and all you could collect up was the lyrics of our songs, you could reconstruct our story. But it is about how the African music tradition evolved into all of the various uniquely American genres of music, from blues to jazz to gospel, spirituals, R&B, funk, pop, hip hop, country, western, rock and roll. All of those are originally Black music forms. And each one of those genres of music, if you do a DNA on them, you will see they function in two ways. Number one, as a tool of resistance to white supremacy's assault on Black souls and psyches, whether it's James Brown saying, "Say it loud, I'm Black and I'm proud," or civil rights marchers saying, "If anybody asks you who I am, tell them I'm a child of God," and as a source of hope, whether it's civil rights marchers saying, "We shall overcome one day," or Harold Melvin in the Blue Notes saying, "Wake up everybody," or Tupac Shakur saying, "Keep your head up." All of our music is about affirming us in a society that deconstructs us every day with its micro and macro aggressions. We put ourselves back together and affirm ourselves in our music, and we also pump wind in our sails and as we aspire a better day and a source of hope. So Songs of Black Folk is a celebration of music, but music that pushes a marginalized people forward who've had to fight their way into the mainstream of American society. Here's the tick. No matter what floats your boat musically, it's all there. The Songs of Black Folk has classical, it has jazz, it has R&B, it has hip hop, will have rappers, spoken word, dancers, all on one stage with a 50-piece orchestra, 7-piece rhythm section of some of the top musicians from all over the country, 40-voice choir of some of the most talented young voices along the I-5 corridor from Everett down to Lacey, 5 nationally regarded featured artists in the various genres of music, all under the direction of Ramon Braxton, who happens to be my nephew, graduate of Morehouse and Morgan State University.
Wow. You know what is this concept of taking music, which is something that has binded us together as people for so long, and taking it back and saying, this is who, how did you come up with this concept of saying, we're going to take this, we're going to make a major production out of it? And, you know, a lot of times people like to say music is the soundtrack to our lives, you know, and saying, okay, you know, we're going to take this back and we're going to make a big theatrical production. How'd this come about? What made you, what was your inspiration?
I think as I told you last year, I was 24 years of age before I had my first Black classroom teacher. In my second year of graduate school at Colgate Rochester Divinity School. When I got to Rochester, and then was a couple miles drive from Detroit, Philadelphia, Chicago, DC, Charlotte, I began to see bigger churches, HBCUs, huge cultural productions that we just didn't have here in the Pacific Northwest because of the demographics. We're only 3% of the state population. And so I longed to have these type of huge productions with an orchestra, a black rhythm section. It was unheard of out here to drag it west of the Mississippi, north of California. And so that idea sat in my head. And because I grew up in the home of a church musician who also liked to party on Saturday, worship God on Sunday morning, there was no dichotomy between sacred and secular, which is very African. No dichotomy between sacred and secular. That's white folk stuff. And so I wanted to do a world-class fine arts production that featured African-American talent here in the Northwest of all places. A production that could rival anything, not only anywhere in the country, but anywhere in the world. To take the best of the local talent, combine it and fuse it with the best of talent all over the country, and for the Northwest audience, so that little kids growing up here in the Northwest, like me, will not grow up with an anemic perception of what the Black community is capable of simply because of accident of birth. Langston Hughes said, if I can see it, I can be it, and I want to put it in front of them.
Yeah, that you said accident of birth. I have a T-shirt that says, I didn't ask to be born Black, I just got lucky. Absolutely. Man, I love being Black. I mean, we got flavor in our Kool-Aid that other people can only covet. Yeah. Because everybody's trying to drink it.
So, okay, now you're pulling all these pieces together. It's got to take a bunch of people. I want to take this opportunity to give you the opportunity to shine a light on some of the folks who've been instrumental in putting this together and helping you with this major production. You mentioned your son, right?
Actually, my nephew.
Your nephew.
My nephew, okay. Ramon Braxton. He's my now deceased older brother's son, one of his two sons. And I did help him after high school get into community college and then go on down to Morehouse. And he played with the Glee Club and at Ebenezer Baptist Church, and then went on to Morgan State under the great Nathan Carter. Morgan State has the top HBCU music program in the country, if not the top music program in the country, period. And he's the artistic director, a uniquely talented individual who can not only direct a choir, but conduct an orchestra, and a composer, can write music, also develop a run of show. There's very few people in the country, white or Black, who can write music, classically play the organ and the piano, direct a choir, direct an orchestra, and do it all at the same time on a stage. So he's the artistic director, not because he's my nephew, but because he's one of only a handful of people in the country who's broad enough with the skill package at an elite level to be the soul, the foundation of this production. Alongside him, I have my production team. I have Tanya Smith, who's my administrator, who keeps the trains moving on time, who connects all the dots. I have Kevin Meeks, brilliant media services coordinator, who works with the sound people, works with the stage people, who works with the video people, the marketing people. I have Angela Lau, who is our bookkeeper, who makes sure everything gets paid on time. I have my chief operations officer, Steve Gray, who's helping with all the operations and setup and moving things here and there. I've got a long list of people who help make this happen. You know, it takes a village and it takes a team. And I'm blessed to have brilliant, competent people around me.
June is Black Music Month. It is also Juneteenth, which is now an official holiday. Is the production of this taking place on June 16th? Is that intentional? Was you specific? We're going to do this in June, every June.
Well, in 2022 was the first time there was national and state celebrations of Juneteenth, which was made a holiday in July of 2021. So it was celebrated for the first time in 2022. I asked the mayor, only the second African-American mayor of the city, what are we doing to celebrate this holiday that Black folk have been celebrating over 160 years, just among ourselves? I asked the mayor of Tacoma as well. We got all these black mayors, but what are we doing? We asked for a new Voting Rights Act. They gave us a holiday. They gave us symbolism over substance, but sometimes you got to take the symbol and use it as occasion, as an opportunity to still push for the substance. And I got a deer in the headlight look. So then I said, I have an idea. Help me with the funding and give me one of the major performance halls. Give me a Benaroya, a McCall Hall, or a Paramount. And I'll pull together the people and we will give you a world-class fine arts production that features African-American talent. I'll blow up that stage if you all give me the resources. And so that's kind of how it came about. They supported me. They continue to support me. We're building on it every year. We get bigger and better. This year, oh my God, we're focusing on Black freedom, Black faith, and Black fashion. With a focus on the sometimes.
I'm gonna run that back one more again.
Black freedom, Black faith, and Black fashion. With a focus on how extra Black people are, focusing on the sometimes fabulousness, the extravagance of the African-American performer. Because, you know, we like a lot of flavor in our Kool-Aid. Sometimes we wear all the colors all at once in our outfit. We don't like nothing bland. And so the stages go light up. In the first half of the show, you're going to see our classical, spiritual chops and the voice of Brandy Sutton coming from the Metropolitan Opera, where she played Clara and Porgy and Bess, is going to be bouncing off of the rafters, and the voice of the choir, the symphony orchestra, and all that. In the second half of that show, then you're going to see dancers as models, and with the video presentation behind it, you're going to see colors bouncing everywhere. It's going to be sheer spectacle, and the music is just going to build and burst.
And in a production this big, that's something that happens annually. Usually it's the same thing. When you see The Wiz, it's the same thing when you see it again. Is that the case here?
No. The music well is so deep. It's inexhaustible. It's like the Bible. We preach from it every week, but it's not the same sermon. It's inexhaustible. You can go back to that. You will never be able to sing all of the music in that well when you consider all the classical, all the spiritual, all the R&B, all the gospel, all the rap, all the hip hop. Because we're still creating new stuff, and the stuff that's already been created. If you sang some of that each day, you wouldn't sing all of what's in there before Jesus comes back. And so each year we come back with an emphasis on music of resistance and hope, but with a different angle, a different spin, different presenters. And so it is always different. It's not the same menu every year.
Wow. Again, songs.
But it will always be black, blackity, black.
Songs of Black Folk, June 16th, Paramount Theater. Where can we get tickets? How can we get tickets?
Songsofblackfolk.org. One word. Songsofblackfolk.org. One word. Songsofblackfolk.org. Go and get your tickets. You can also, when you get your tickets, you can get your copy of the Songs of Black Folk album that we have just produced. It will be on sale the night of the concert. But it's also on sale right now at the website. It's a 500 limited edition. There's only 500. When they're gone, they're gone. And the album cover is the greatest album cover since the old Ohio Players Honey album. Every black man in America over 50 remembers that album cover. It was a rite of passage.
So this is an actual album.
It is waxed. It is intended to be a token that you put on your mantle in your showcase, but it combines the warmth of the old analog with the precision of the new digital recording. The music jumps off of the wax. You definitely want to get your copy of that. And to your question earlier, we put this on Father's Day night because we found a sweet spot in the calendar. It's the weekend before Juneteenth. But Father's Day night, we found out that no one was driving in that lane. For Mother's Day and Father's Day, most of our family activities are in the morning. We go to church, we go to brunch, we cook out. In the evening, everybody settles in. And we didn't want to step on anything anybody else was doing. So to have a fine arts production where you get duded up and, you know, put on your best suit and a little cologne and so forth, we wanted to do that as evening fare. And so it was a sweet spot. It has worked for us. So once again, Father's Day evening, June 16th at the Paramount Theater, 7 p.m., Songs of Black Folk.
Okay. Now, for us in the Pacific Northwest, our history is... There is less of our history than back east. You know, we started a little bit later. So when you have something like this, we want to own it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Tell me about the relationship between Songs of Black Folk and the Pacific Northwest, Seattle. What will you see in that will make you say, oh, this is our... We know that you directed it, wrote it, and founded it. Are there things in there that are specifically related to the Pacific Northwest?
Absolutely. Well, some of the people that are in it
from
the Pacific Northwest, so you're going to see personalities that are in it. Also, after...
Because we got a lot of Black music from the Pacific Northwest.
And a lot of that has worked its way into the show. We represent that. And so the menu of music is not only national, it's local. So we own that. It is broad and yet narrow. It is macro and micro all at the same time. Also, one of the key features of the show is that after intermission, the first part of the second half of the production, we give out community service awards to people who have emerged as another generation of leaders who are making the difference. And these awards are given after iconic persons who spent their life making a difference, like the Norm Rice Community Development Award, the Reverend Patrina Wright Musical Excellence Award, like the Trish Melendez DeZico Technology Access Award, the Maxine Mims Educational Empowerment Award, the Lyle Kwazim Political Activism Award. We give these out to these people who spent their life making the difference, pushing the ball forward in the Puget Sound to another generation of leaders. For example, the Pat Wright Performance Excellence Award is going to Nate Jackson, the comedian. Because as you know, we have a rich history of Black comedians. Yes. And that's a performance art. And he has used his business as a platform to launch local comedians as well as to bring nationally regarded comedians to the Pacific Northwest.
I'm going to give a shout out to Nate Jackson and the Super Funny Comedy Club.
Absolutely. And Nate has done several clean shows at my church.
Yeah. You know, Nate Jackson used to intern for me.
Wow.
At Cube 93. And he was the same dedicated young person as an intern, even though he was still working professionally. He didn't let that say, well, I'm better than everybody, I'm special. He still works anyway. You know, the thing about this that I really like, that I'm enjoying hearing about this, is that you are acknowledging Black folks who have contributed historically. And one of the things that we need to make sure that we do is record our history so that our history is available from us. Otherwise, I'm sure, as you know, it will either be unwritten, unkept, or someone else will write our history. So obviously that's very intentional with you about making that connection with our Pacific Northwest history as well.
History is literally a chronicling and an interpretation of past events. It is his story, her story, their story. And whoever has the pen decides what events will be included or excluded, and what interpretation you will make out of them. And people tell history for the sake of undergirding what they're trying to do now and moving forward, which is why this country is moving in such an ahistorical way, because people want to turn the clock back on our history, want to deny certain ugly chapters in the history as a setup to them resurrecting that ugliness going forward to protect privilege that was accrued in some diabolical ways.
I've got to have you back on just to talk to you.
Yeah, let's talk.
But Songs of Black Folk, I got about a minute left. June 16th, Paramount Theater, songsofblackfolk.org. Get your tickets now. I'm definitely going to be there. I do want to give you about 30 seconds a minute for final words that you'd like to say to those who are listening to us right now, and some folks are watching us on our video platforms.
Songs of Black Folk is for everybody. It is a celebration of how God's deposit of God's godness has burst forth in the lives of Black people who have overcome every facile force of state and culture, and our music has been a driving force. But Songs of Black Folk is not just for Black folk, because anything God gives you, he gives you to move from the specific to the general, to be a blessing for everybody. If it ain't good for everybody, it ain't good for nobody. And our story is about how a marginalized people fought their way into the mainstream. And so anybody who's ever been put upon, put down, knocked out, knocked down, is inspired by the songs of Black folk. It is medicine for the soul of anybody whose back has been against the wall. So come on out, bathe in the blackness. It's going to be black, black, blackity black. But it's going to be inspiring, healing, motivating. You're going to laugh, you're going to cry, but you're going to be transformed.
Executive Director, founder of the Songs of Black Folk, Reverend Dr. Leslie D. Braxton. Once again, June 16th, Paramount Theater, songsofblackfolk.org. Get your tickets. Reverend Braxton, thank you once again for what you do in our community and stopping by Rainier Avenue Radio to share with us this information so that we can share with our community.
Bless you. See y'all there.
All right, that's it. That's about all the time I have. That is going to do it for the kid. Thanks for joining me for another edition of Street Beat. And remember, this is Tony B saying, whether you believe you can or whether you believe you cannot, you're probably right. I'm out. Peace.